Millions of years ago, the oceans were not ruled by Megalodon alone. In those cold, dark depths, there was another predator, smarter, heavier, and terrifying in a completely different way. It was not a shark. It was not a marine dinosaur either. It was a whale. But not the gentle kind of whale we usually imagine. Its name was Livyatan Melvillei, an ancient predatory sperm whale armed with massive teeth in both jaws. A single tooth could grow over 36 centimeters long, almost the length of an adult human forearm. And in the Miocene world, where even whales could become prey, Livyatan was a warm-blooded nightmare. So if Livyatan truly came face to face with Megalodon, who was the real ruler of the ancient ocean? When we think of whales, most of us imagine enormous yet gentle creatures. They drift slowly through the ocean, singing songs that travel across vast distances, and they are rarely seen as the image of a brutal predator. But Livyatan Melvillei was a terrifying exception. It belonged to a group of ancient sperm whales known as large predatory sperm whales. Unlike modern sperm whales, Livyatan did not simply dive into the depths to hunt squid. It was built to attack prey much larger than that. The most frightening difference was found in its jaws. Livyatan had functional teeth in both its upper and lower jaws. Those teeth were not just for holding prey, they were made to bite, lock on, and tear through flesh. In other words, this was a whale equipped like a killer. If today's sperm whale is the mysterious hunter of the deep sea, then Livyatan was its far more aggressive ancient version. It was not simply a large marine animal. It was an apex predator. And in the Miocene Ocean, where Megalodon also existed, Livyatan was certainly not a name to be underestimated. Livyatan Melvillei was not terrifying simply because it was a predatory whale. It was terrifying because its size was almost beyond imagination. Based on the fossil skull that has been discovered, scientists estimate that Livyatan may have measured between roughly 13.5 and 17.5 meters in length. In other words, it could have been about as long as a fully grown modern sperm whale. If you placed Livyatan next to a bus, its body would stretch far beyond it. If an adult human swam beside it, that person would look like a fragile shadow drifting through the ocean. But what made Livyatan truly intimidating was not just its length. It was the massive head, the heavy jaws, and a body structure built for hunting large prey. Its skull was about 3 meters long, almost the length of a small car. Now imagine a whale head that large rising from the dark water. No razor-sharp fin like a shark. No claws like a monster from a movie. Just immense mass, enormous teeth, and the strength of a deep-sea killer. With a body that size, Livyatan did not need to hide like some small predator. It was the kind of creature that made the entire ocean pay attention whenever it appeared. But Livyatan's most terrifying weapon was not its size. It was inside its mouth. Unlike modern sperm whales, Livyatan had large teeth in both its upper and lower jaws. Each tooth was thick, strong, coated in enamel, and deeply rooted in the jawbone. The largest tooth is estimated to have reached about 36.2 centimeters in length. These were not teeth meant simply for holding small prey. They were teeth built to clamp down, lock in place, and tear through the flesh of large marine animals. When Livyatan bit down, the teeth in both jaws could interlock like a living trap. Where marks on the teeth suggest that they once struck directly against each other during bites. That made Livyatan one of the most terrifying predatory whales that ever existed. In the Miocene Ocean, the moment many creatures saw those jaws, their chance of escape may already have been gone. Livyatan was not a predator that targeted only small creatures. Its prey may have been large, fast, and capable of fighting back. Scientists believe that Livyatan may have hunted small to medium-sized whales. It may also have attacked ancient dolphins, seals, sharks, and many other vertebrates in the Miocene Ocean. This placed Livyatan very high in the food chain. It was not just a large whale. It was a hunter of other whales. With its enormous teeth and powerful bite, Livyatan could clamp onto its prey and wear it down. Its hunting strategy may have been similar to that of modern killer whales, but on a far more terrifying scale. In those ancient waters, a small whale that strayed from its group could become the perfect target. And once Livyatan emerged from the darkness, the hunt had probably already begun. But the question that fascinates many people the most is this: what would happen if Livyatan met Megalodon? Both lived in ancient oceans filled with competition. Both were gigantic predators standing near the top of the food chain. And more importantly, both may have targeted the same food source: whales and other large marine animals. Megalodon was a colossal shark, armed with serrated teeth as sharp as blades. It could deliver devastating bites, powerful enough to weaken its prey very quickly. But Livyatan was not an easy victim to overpower. It was a warm-blooded predatory whale, with a larger brain, a massive body, and enormous teeth in both jaws. If Megalodon was the nightmare rising from below, then Livyatan was a living fortress swimming through the ocean. On one side was the power of the largest predatory shark ever known. On the other was the intelligence, endurance, and jaws of an ancient killer whale. We still have no solid evidence of a direct battle between these two creatures. But in an ocean where food meant survival, competition between them would have been very hard to avoid. And the mere thought that Livyatan could have made Megalodon hesitate is enough to turn it into a legend of the deep. But beyond its enormous teeth, Livyatan also carried a mystery right on top of its head. Its fossil skull shows a large hollowed-out area stretching across the snout. This depression may once have held a spermaceti organ, similar to the one found in modern sperm whales. In today's sperm whales, this organ is linked to sound production, echolocation, communication, and possibly even the ability to control buoyancy. For Livyatan, scientists still do not know exactly what it was used for. It may have helped Livyatan produce powerful sounds in dark waters. It may also have played a role in communication between individuals, or in head-to-head collisions. Some hypotheses even suggest that its massive head may have helped it ram into prey or rivals. If that is true, then Livyatan did not just have jaws like a steel trap. It may also have carried a weapon on its head that the ancient ocean once feared. Livyatan did not live in an empty ocean. It existed in an ancient marine world full of life, but also full of danger. Around 9 million years ago, the waters where Livyatan appeared were home to many different kinds of marine animals. There were small and medium-sized baleen whales. There were ancient dolphins, seals, sea turtles, seabirds, bony fish, rays, and countless species of sharks. But that abundance also turned the ocean into a brutal battlefield of competition. The more large prey there was, the more terrifying predators appeared. And among them, Megalodon was a gigantic shadow that could not be ignored. This meant Livyatan did not only have to hunt in order to survive. It also had to exist in the same world as one of the most fearsome sharks that ever appeared. That is why the Miocene Ocean was no place for the weak. And Livyatan was one of the creatures powerful enough to stand at the top of that world. But no matter how powerful Livyatan was, it eventually vanished from the ocean. The cause may not have been a stronger predator. It may have come from the changing Earth itself. Toward the end of the Miocene, the climate began to cool, causing deep changes in marine ecosystems. Small and medium-sized whales, which may have been an important food source for Livyatan, gradually declined. Meanwhile, many baleen whales began to change in size, range, and adaptation. For a gigantic predator, losing the right kind of prey was a fatal blow. Livyatan did not go extinct because it was weak. It went extinct because the world it was born to dominate had changed. As the oceans grew colder, prey became scarcer, and competition became harsher. Even monsters could not survive forever. And then, like Megalodon later on, Livyatan was reduced to fossils. A gigantic name, buried beneath the sediments of time. Livyatan Melvillei was not just an extinct ancient creature. It was proof that whales once had a far more terrifying past than we ever imagined. With its enormous body, powerful jaws, and teeth longer than 36 centimeters, Livyatan was no ordinary hunter. It was one of the most formidable marine killers of the Miocene. In the same ocean where Megalodon once ruled, Livyatan was still powerful enough to stand as an apex predator. We may never know for certain whether these two monsters ever faced each other directly. But that possibility alone is enough to make the ancient ocean more terrifying than ever. If Megalodon was the king of sharks, then Livyatan was the whale that could make that king hesitate. And now, all that remains of it are fossils, gigantic teeth, and a legend buried beneath the depths of time. What do you think? If Livyatan and Megalodon truly came face to face, who would be the last one standing?